Hey you guys, what's going on? It's Emily and welcome back to Living Plantfully. So today we are in my kitchen, yes, but we are not going to be making anything today. Today I am sharing with you guys a video that I should have made a long time ago. It is so long overdue, but this is one of those videos that I think is very important. I have in the past filmed a video where I share with you guys my vegan pantry essentials, basically like the things that I use most often when I'm cooking, like the food items and whatnot, the things that I have all the time in my pantries and in my cupboards. So today I thought that it was also very important to make a video where I share with you guys my essential utensils and things that I use most often in my kitchen when I am cooking. So this video is for those of you guys that maybe are new to cooking and don't really have a ton of things in your kitchen as far as like cooking utensils go. These are my top kitchen utensils that I think are very essential in pretty much any kitchen, not just a vegan kitchen, but any kitchen. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So I want to start off with the bigger kitchen appliances that I use most often. So obviously my number one kitchen appliance that I use a lot is my high-speed blender, and I have here the Vitamix. This Vitamix has been amazing. I got it 3 years ago and I've used it a ton. It's a great blender. Again, it's a high-speed blender, so it's definitely going to do a great job at crushing like really hard things. I make oat flour in here. You can make rice flour. You can make all kinds of things in here. It even like heats up like food. If you want to make like a soup in here, like a puree, it'll heat it up for you. This Vitamix is definitely an investment, but totally worth it in my opinion because how often I use it. So I have two different canisters that come with it. I have the taller canister. This one holds 8 cups max, and then I have this little tinier baby one, which I actually just recently purchased, and this one holds 6 cups. It's better for when you want to make something that's not so huge like this one, and they both come with their little I don't know what these are called, but basically you use this to kind of like push everything down. That way everything comes to the bottom where the blade is and it can get nice and pureed or blended or whatever it is. And they both come with one. Obviously they're different sizes. So that is my number one kitchen utensil that I use, is my Vitamix blender. The other kitchen appliance that I use most often is my food processor. Now my food processor I don't use as often as my blender, but it is very important, and they do different things. They don't do the same exact thing. My blender I use more for when I want to like really blend things up, so to like make sauces, like if I'm crushing like nuts or you know, things like that. My food processor I like to use more when I'm more like mixing as well as chopping, if that makes sense. I use this for my hummus, I use this for baba ganoush, those kinds of things you want to use this for. And also my arugula pesto that I just recently made, I use this as well, and I love this food processor. It is by Hamilton Beach, and I really like it because it has this little swivel thing right here, which gets all of the stuff that kind of like goes on the sides. It kind of like pushes it down so that it gets mixed in very well. So the last kitchen appliance, it's not really an appliance, but it does have to be connected. It has to have power, so that's why I'm including it in this section. But that is a simple and very inexpensive rice cooker. We use this pretty much every single day. I mean, it just makes your rice literally perfect. Everyone always asks me like on my pictures, how do you get your rice so like fluffy and not mushy and stuff? This is it. I use this little tiny, very inexpensive rice cooker, and it does a really great job. It also comes with a steamer, but again, you don't need to like spend a bunch of money on a rice cooker because this one does the job and it does a really great job. So the next thing is like pots and pans and things like that. So the thing that I use the most when it comes to that kind of stuff is my cast iron skillet, and I love this thing. At first I had no clue like how to take care of it or anything like that. Let me just tell you that the key thing to keeping your cast iron skillet rust free is to literally keep it away from water, like literally 100% away from water. So that's what I do, and I've kept it up. And the thing about cast irons is that they're a little bit expensive, but if you take really good care of it, it will last you your whole entire lifetime. So my cast iron skillet is great. I love making like tofu scrambles in it. I even make sauces in it sometimes. It's great for things that you want to like cook in your pan as well as bake, because you can bake it in the oven and it won't damage it or anything like that. So yeah, my cast iron skillet is definitely an essential. Then another essential that I would suggest you get is something that is non-stick. So I have here this Master Pro, it's like one of those like green type things where it's like has no chemicals or anything like that in it. So this one is kind of like a shallow pan. So you can use it to like fry things on the bottom or kind of like pan fry, but it's also shallow enough to where you can make like a chana masala in there, or you know, something like that that might have like some broth or some kind of like liquid. Okay, so moving on to utensils and things that I use most often when I'm cooking or prepping to cook, and those are obviously knives. So the number one knife that I use is actually this really inexpensive one. I actually got it from IKEA. I really like it. It has like those little grips on it, so it's good for like cutting things like squashes and things that kind of create a suction around your knife. So I really like this one. Again, it's from IKEA and I use this one most often. And then I also have my chopping block, which you guys always see right here, and this one is from Farberware. MJ got it for me for my birthday, and it pretty much has all the knives that you'll need. It has like a smaller paring knife, it has a serrated knife for like breads and things like that, and then it also has just your regular chef's knife, which this is the one that I use most often out of this. And then it comes with a bunch of like little steak knives, which you can use for tons of things. It comes with like a bigger chef's knife, and then it also comes with kitchen shears, which is really nice when you have to like cut things up. So yeah, definitely recommend you get a set of knives. If you invest in a good set at first, you won't have to keep rebuying or buying new ones. And a way to keep your knives like really sharp is to just buy a very inexpensive knife sharpener. This one is by Chef's Choice, and it's really easy to use. Literally, you set it on your countertop, and then you do it first on the number one a couple of times, and then on the number two, and then you rinse it off, and your knife will be super sharp. So definitely get one of these, and your knives will be kept up really good as long as you don't put them in the dishwasher. Don't do that. Don't put them, it even says it on the knives, I think, but you're not supposed to wash knives in the dishwasher. Just wash them by hand and dry them really well so that they won't rust. So while we're talking about like knives and sharp things, obviously a vegetable peeler is one of my essentials. I use this not only for vegetables, I use it also for fruit. If I want to peel like an apple, if I want like a skinless apple, I use it for pumpkins, squash, eggplant, potatoes, obviously. Just anything. And this one is also from IKEA, really inexpensive. And a garlic press. This is something that I use very often, especially if I don't want to chop it by hand. It just gets the job done, very easy. I love this one because it has this little removable bottom here, so that way nothing gets stuck. A lot of garlic presses, like a bunch of garlic will get like stuck right here, and with this one you don't have to worry about that. So this one is from IKEA as well. So for some more utensils, I have next a bunch of whisks. I use whisks all the time. So I have here just a regular metal whisk, and then I have a silicone one, so that way when I'm using one of my pans that has some kind of coating on it, it doesn't scrape it like the metal one will. And then I have this little tiny baby one for when I want to make like a small little sauce or something just very small. I'll go ahead and use my little tiny baby one. So these are my 3 whisks that I use all the time. And then next are tongs. I use tongs all the time as well. They're great for picking things up, for flipping things. And I have a metal one, it's stainless steel, and then I have one that has kind of the silicone tips. So the same thing, it doesn't scrape up my non-stick pans that have a coating on them. And then I have this little tiny baby tongs, which I get a lot of questions on. I like using these to flip tofu as well, so yeah. So then I have spatulas. Spatulas are definitely an essential. I have 3 different spatulas here. These 3 are obviously all silicone, and these are great for if you're mixing something in a bowl and you want to just get every little bit of everything around the bowl. I use these, and also getting things out of my food processor and getting things out of my blender, I will go ahead and use these, and they're good for like folding things like for desserts and stuff. Then I have just this little baby spatula that I've used quite often as well, just to like remove things from a pan, for leveling something. This is great. So those are the spatulas. Then another essential, which this one's quite obvious, but I just had to throw it in there, is measuring cups. If you are a cook and you want to like follow a recipe, you definitely need to have some measuring cups, because every single recipe is going to give you, more than likely, it's going to give you the amount in some kind of measurement form. Some people do use weight, but more often than not, you'll see people use cups and tablespoons and ounces sometimes. So those are my measuring cup, and then obviously measuring spoons. These are stainless steel. Those are my little measuring utensils. So another great thing to have are mixing bowls. I may have a slight problem because I have a ton of mixing bowls. I have some metal mixing bowls, which you guys see me use all the time, and I have a bunch of glass ones. I actually have a bunch of different sizes down to the tiniest, teeniest little bowl. These are essential for me. Whenever I am doing my videos especially, I like having everything kind of like pre-chopped, pre-measured, and then I'll just have them in the little bowls and then just throw them in whenever they're needed in the recipe. And last but not least, I have my essential cutting boards, which obviously you need to have cutting boards in your kitchen, and these are the two that I use most often, and they are both bamboo, and I really like using bamboo because it doesn't stain or anything like that. I've cut all kinds of things on this, like strawberries, beets, like things that like really will stain if you have like one of those plastic kind of cutting boards. I have two different sizes. This is the one that I use most often because it's great for if you're just chopping something very small like some berries, or if you're just cutting a lemon wedge or a lime wedge. And then if I'm cutting up more vegetables, more things, then I'll use my bigger one. Both of my cutting boards are from IKEA. So I think that is everything. It is obviously not every single utensil that I have in my kitchen. I have a ton more, but these are the essential ones and the ones that I use most often when I am cooking just every single day. So I really hope that this video was helpful, informational for those of you guys that don't really know anything about cooking or just getting into cooking. I hope that this video helped you out to kind of like see the things that you might need to get if you don't have already. If you like these kind of videos where I kind of share just other things aside from food, but things that have to do with food, if you like these kind of videos, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And if there's something that I didn't mention that for you is like a super essential, be sure to let me know in the comment section. I want to know what are the things that you guys use most often in your kitchen. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's video, and as always, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so. The subscribe button is right down there, and don't forget to click the notification bell that is right next to it as well, so that you'll be notified every single Wednesday when a new video goes up. And that is all for today, guys. I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.